Today we're going to show you how to replace the rear brakes on your Subaru Crosstrek. These are located in the rear of the vehicle, behind the wheel. To remove the wheels, we're going to be using a 19mm socket. Make sure you put your lug nuts somewhere safe that you're not going to kick them around. Now, remove the wheel. We're going to remove the bleed screw cap and set it off to the side in a safe place. We're going to loosen the bolts holding the caliper to the bracket using a 14mm socket. Then we can remove the caliper from the bracket. Make sure you hang the caliper body up so that it doesn't put any stress on the brake hose. Next, we'll remove the bracket using a 14mm socket and a ratchet. And pull the caliper body off. Next, we're going to pull the plug out of the rotor so that we can get access to the parking brake shoes and adjust them to make it easier to pull the rotor off. To adjust the parking brake shoes to take the rotor off, turn the parking brake shoe adjuster down. To remove the rotor, hit the rotor on the hub surface between two of the studs, making sure not to hit the studs. And pull the rotor off. Using a wire brush, or if you have it, a die grinder, clean up the hub. Try not to be too aggressive, as you don't want to mess up the hub-centric ring. Put a coating of anti-seize on the hub-centric ring. Before installing the rotor, we're going to clean it down using some brake parts cleaner. And wipe down the pad surfaces of the rotor. When you install the rotor, be careful not to touch your fingers on the pad surface. To adjust the parking brake, use a nut or some washers and one of the lug nuts to hold the rotor to the face of the hub. To adjust the parking brake shoes, turn the adjuster until you can't turn the rotor anymore, and then turn the adjuster just a few turns back out until you don't hear the shoes contacting the rotor anymore. Now back the adjuster off just a few turns. Until the rotor is free and turns. Make sure you put the plug back in the rotor. To clean up the bracket, first we got to remove the pads. Using a hammer, you whack the pads. They should come right out. Remove your shims. And clean up these surfaces with a wire brush. To clean the slide pins, hold on to the boot and pull the slide pin out. Wipe off the old grease and apply new silicone paste. Do the same on the other one. You don't need to use too much. Make sure you inspect each boot to make sure that there's not any cracks. If there are, replace them with new ones. Before installing your shims for the pads, apply silicone grease under the shims. Do the same on the other side. To install the shims, make sure the shim is centered and press down on either side. Do the same on the other side. To install the bracket, put it over the rotor and install the screws the same way you took them out. Torque the front bracket bolts to 48.7 foot-pounds. When installing the pads, make sure that the squealer is on the inside. Before installing the caliper, you want to loosen the bleed screw so that you don't cause any damage to the rest of the hydraulic system. It's good to have something to catch the fluid because you don't want to get this on the floor. If you have an epoxy floor or get it on any paint, it's very corrosive. Using a 10mm wrench. If you don't have a caliper compressor at home, you can use a set of oil filter pliers to compress the caliper. Just use a couple of the old pads and make sure you don't pinch on the bleed screw. With the caliper compressed, we can close the bleeder. With the caliper compressed, we can install it back over the pads onto the bracket. Install the screws back where they came. Torque the caliper bolts to 19.9 foot-pounds using a 14mm socket. Make sure to reinstall your bleeder screw cap to keep debris from getting into the hole. Make sure you pump the brake pedal to make sure that the caliper cup is fully seated against the pads. Make sure that the fluid in the master cylinder is at the correct level and the cap is on. Now I'll put the wheel back on. Support the bottom of the wheel. Thread your first lug all the way in. The first lug will hold the wheel up for us. Snug down the lugs, but don't over tighten them because you're going to want to be able to torque them later. And now we're going to torque the lugs to 89 foot-pounds. Make sure you're going in a star pattern as you go around to bring everything down evenly.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.